So is anybody getting a text or something from Deborah?
I'm not seeing anything in the meeting.
All I received was to have the password be sent to her again.
Okay.
But on her little panelist thing, it doesn't have a camera or a microphone on
Right.
it. So
Well, Deborah never has a camera, but I see that Chris is trying to get on as a participant rather than attendee.
is there
By
any
all
way you
means,
can
I
move
can
him?
switch them if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Yeah, switch Chris to a panel
Panelist.
participant. Deborah, are you there yet?
Hi,
She
this
says
is
that she's
Kim.
still
Can you
on
hear me?
mute. There we go.
Yes.
Yeah, Kim, you're coming through good.
Okay, great. Thank you. I couldn't get through on the video, so I have to do it by phone.
It's okay. We're still trying to be able to get Deborah to speak.
Okay, I think I'm here.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
We can hear you now.
Look, well, I'm tired now, okay? I've been trying to get off in 10 minutes. Okay. All right. There's something wrong with my my app, so I can't see anybody. I can't chat with you. I can't do anything. So, okay. How is everybody?
I think we're doing
Hello?
good.
Huh?
We're all great. Thank you.
Okay. Everybody have a nice holiday? Even you, Chuck. I know you were busy, you know.
You saw me on TV or something?
Oh, a couple of times, yeah.
Deborah, this is Izzy. I'm just letting you guys know you are recording. So
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, I'm sure everybody's ready to go. So let's get started with the roll call.
Linda Cam.
Deborah?
Kim Selishire.
Next, please. Roll call.
Okay, I'll go. Chuck Stewart, Bi-State Development.
Paul Hample, St. Louis County.
Ed Zimmerman, Bi-State Development.
I say, Chris, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Thanks. It's helpful when I turn off the mute button. Chris Grunhoward with the St. Louis County Council.
Ray Golick, St. Louis County.
Pete Morrow, St. Louis County PD.
Tom Curran, Bi-State.
Adam Spector, St. Louis County.
Devin Scott, Bi-State.
Is Tammy there? I'm sorry. I'm trying to type and I can't.
Tammy's mouth is moving. We just can't hear her.
You're on
Okay.
mute, Tammy.
Tammy Fulbright, Bi-State. I'm sorry, guys.
Okay. And Chris is there. Just give me a second. I'm got to go back and forth here. Okay, I've got Linda, Kim, Chuck, Paul, Ted, Adam, Kevin, Tammy, Chris, and we have to Chris from County Council. Is there anybody that I missed? I'm sorry.
Kim,
And Ray.
I got Kim. And who?
And Ray Golick.
Ray, okay. Okay. I'm sorry. Just be patient with me. I'm just having a hard time with this today. Okay. We'll move on to business update. Chris, do you have anything from County Council?
There's nothing really new to report here. Obviously, some members of the council have been working with the county executive on the overall budget deficit issue. So those things are ongoing. I know that we'll be here very shortly taking a state budget request so we can get that process moving with the council. And that's all I've got right now, unless there's questions for me.
Okay. I was having a hard time hearing you. Did anybody else? Was everybody else able to hear what Chris was saying?
yes.
Okay, I heard budget deficit, and you're going to be working on it. Was there anything else, Chris?
Just that we'll be, I'm assuming, working with Bi-State soon on their request, so we can try to get that in before the council to be voted on time or close.
Okay. Are you and Tammy still working together?
So I have an update on the budget, Chris. I haven't had a lot of conversation with Chris on this. We're not going to present the budget, and I apologize for that. This go round, we hope to be able to present it at the next meeting. We really are trying to work through some strategies and look at our COVID relief funds and how we're using those. And so we're in the process. I still need to catch up with Chris. And Toby's been working with the county executive, just kind of giving them a preliminary information too. And so we hope that we're going to be able to present the budget in the next meeting.
Thank you, Tammy.
Sure.
Paul?
Afternoon, Madam Chair and Commission members. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I have one transportation-related item to share on behalf of the county executive. Last week, Dr. Page, along with St. Louis Mayor Tashara Jones and officials from Lambert Field and local business leaders, met with leadership from Lufthansa Airlines at the Ritz-Carlton in Clayton, where they asked the airline to increase weekly flights from St. Louis to Frankfurt, Germany, to 5 per week from 3. As you may recall, St. Louis had gone about 20 years without direct flights to Europe before Lufthansa began offering nonstop service to Europe last June. And since then, those flights have done a booming business. About 85% of outbound flights, outbound flights have been on average about 85% full on the big A330-300 airliners, which have a capacity of 255 travelers. And meanwhile, the inbound flights have been about 80% full. And in addition to that, cargo tonnage on those flights has been high going both ways. So Lufthansa told Dr. Page that St. Louis is at the top of the airline's list for expanding flights. And once they get logistics settled, including additional planes and hiring more staff, they expect to add additional flights to their St. Louis schedule. So that's just great news for our region. That's all I have transportation-wise to report and share with you all today, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for Paul? Okay, next is the county counselor's office. And first, Chris, can I get your last name, please? Come on, move. Hello? Is there someone present from the county counselor's office?
No, there is not.
Okay. All right. Oh, okay. see, I got it. Just as an FYI, my understanding from Genevieve is that there will be no one in attendance. However, a counselor will be assigned to public transportation, and if anyone has any questions or concerns, they can forward that to me, and I can forward that to Genevieve. Any questions on that?
Thank you. No, thank you.
Okay. Next up is Metro, and I will just say that I put the monthly update for the secure platform. I know Toby's not here, okay, but he sends us out a monthly update, Kevin, and so I wasn't really sure what portion he wanted to handle and what portion you wanted to handle, but since he's not here, we'll wait till we get to you, unless, Chuck, you have something to say on it. Anybody got any questions from the information that Toby sent out to us?
No.
No, just as, are you clear? Are you talking about the SPP monthly report, Deborah? I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Yes, I am.
Okay. No, I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Okay. All right. And I didn't hear Tom's name. So Tom is not in attendance today. Tom?
Deborah, Tom Curran is here. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Tom, at the last meeting, it was our understanding that you are in charge of the new fare collection system. And so we would like to get an update on that if possible.
Sure. So again, the Fare Collection Program project is going to work in concert with Kevin's SPP program to create the new fare system for MetroBus and MetroLink. So buses are going to receive the new onboard validators. They can read paper tickets, electronic tickets, and passes. And then buses will also have a new fare box just for cash payments only. And then MetroLink will have new validators that will unlock the SPP safety gates, put the new ticket vending machines at all the stations. And the Bi-State Board of Commissioners did approve Masabi as the firm that's going to be the backbone of the new electronic fare system. We're currently going through a request for information from vendors for fare boxes, and ticket vending machines. And this project is going to run through next year, concurrently with SPP. The RFP process will start shortly. The request for information from fare box vendors and from the other people that are supplying the ticket vending machines, those requests for information results are due on the 12th of April. That will be followed by a lengthy RFP process to acquire those new fare boxes and TBMs. That will actually take from the start of that process through acquisition and installation. That is a year-long process. So we don't know yet who the fare box vendors and the TBM vendors will be, but that is a work in progress. And again, all of those systems have to coordinate with our new electronic fare system, and that will be with a company called Masabi. So I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Thanks, Todd. Can you spell Masabi for me?
It's Masabi, and you can find them online at masabi.com.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Tom?
No, thank you.
Okay. Chuck, looks like you've got the floor.
Thank you very much. So I want to share my screen, and we'll see how this works. Okay. Can everyone see that? Can you see the workforce update?
Yes.
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay. All right. So I'm going to talk about the workforce update. I'm also going to talk about the March service change, and then I'm going to talk a little more about Colorado and the whole scheme of things. March, I think it was March 13th, we did another service change. Again, We do quarterly service changes anyway, just to tweak things to make sure that we are giving the best service we can based on the demand that we've had. But recently, there's been more of a consideration of manpower. So we've been tweaking our service every quarter, basically matching up the available operators with the service demand to the best of our ability. So our last one was in November, and we had some really good results from that. Trips went down from, or missed trips went down from 6.1% to 2.1% to 1.1% in January. There was a little tweak in February for some reason. I'm still investigating that. But anyway, we did another service change in March, on March 13th. And again, it's about matching up the availability of operators with the service that we're able to provide. So it's we're still challenged by our operator shortage. We are currently 221 bus operators down, 24 Metrolink operators, and 89 caller ride operators, and we have shortages as well in our maintenance teams. But there's hope. We see on the horizon our efforts to recruit are paying off a little better. We're having more graduates from our training courses, and we have a number of trainees currently in process. So hopefully we're crossing the intersection of being able to at least mitigate losses that we were achieving through people leaving, and bringing enough people in to at least account for that so we can keep the current service levels. Any questions on that part, on manpower?
Chuck, do you have any information on how many missed trips you're having now after the March service changes?
I don't have that. That was just on the 13th. I probably do have the information. I don't have it in front of me. I do have some information as it relates to caller ride in that area. But I can certainly send the committee the latest information as we have in terms of missed trips as a result or since the March service change. So I will do that.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question of Chuck?
Sure. Oh, I'm sorry.
Chuck, although I'm not a member of the commission, I did have a question. I see that you have 58 applications. Yes?
Okay.
I see you have 58 applications. I'll continue. I see that you have 58 applications for caller ride operators, but only 3 candidates in process. Is that a more complicated process or something? Why so few candidates out of those 58?
I think those are the same 58 as we show under MetroBus, because basically it's the people usually apply for one or the other. Okay, so it's not a more complicated process, but candidates in process is usually a result of having screened those applicants, people that passing the background check and the drug test and that kind of stuff. So we usually have quite a few more applications than we actually have people that go to the next level. The caller ride is actually caller ride, most people apply for that because in some cases you can work part-time with caller ride. So, but yeah, that's pretty representative of our results in terms of applications.
Okay, I see. So the pool's the same for the bus operators and the caller ride operators.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
All right, any other questions? Yes.
I have a question. Along with the April 10th service changes, you had talked before about eliminating some of the requirements for caller ride drivers with respect to, I think, the licensing that's needed.
Not licensing, I can't, those are FTA mandated.
Well, I mean, like
Not
CDL.
And not well, so we have two situations. We are attempting now to actually hire people that already have CDLs, because our experience was that if we train people for CDLs, that is the thing that is most marketable about our training. So we were having the experience of people starting with us and getting trained for CDL, which is like the first 2 weeks of training, they get that CDL and they move on. So now we are actually trying to hire people that already have CDLs so that we know that they are really interested in working for us, not just getting a CDL. We're also working with the community college. They have a program for training for CDLs. So we're trying to get a lot of things going to attract as many people as we can from various sources.
Quick question on the operators that you're losing. Are you doing exit strategies to find out where they're going?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. We're conducting exit interviews. A lot of them are, frankly, what's hurting us most is this new gig economy, the Lyft and Uber drivers, the delivery services, the Uber Eats and all of those jobs. I don't know if you have any experience with any of that personally, but those jobs solve a lot of different issues for people. First of all, they get better hours. They can work when they want to and not work when they don't want to. I've ordered something from Uber Eats the other day, and the guy drove up and he had his family in the car with him. So solves the babysitting problem and just everything. So those most of our people, or most of the people that are leaving us, are going to those kinds of jobs.
So it's not really the benefits packages, it's just the flexibility.
It's the flexibility, yeah. And maybe they're not thinking long-term about benefits because those jobs do not provide benefits and retirements and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's a choice of convenience.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions on this? The next report is about our ridership. And basically, our ridership continues to increase. But again, these numbers are increases over last year, 2022. And again, looking back, our most favorable year in the last 5 was like 19 and before. So we still have not caught up with our ridership in 2019. But we continue to show improvement month after month. You see here, we have a not applicable under Metrolink, and we had a situation this past, actually started end of February, where we had some electrical problems on our LRVs, and we had to disconnect some of the systems. If we had the passenger counter wired up, there was a possibility that the doors would all open without us opening them. So that was a problem for us. So we don't have Metrolink numbers for February. That continued through part of March. So after March, we will continue with those numbers. And we'll try to figure something out so we can do our year-to-year comparisons going forward. There's no questions on that. I want to talk a little bit more about Coloride in particular. And these are February numbers for Coloride. This is before any consideration of the reduction in service that was implemented today. And as you can see, out of 45,000 rides in February, we had over 19,000 denials because we really couldn't service them with the number of operators that we had. But so we're kind of almost half and half of requests versus the actual trips made. So what we did as of February 10th is that we reduced our footprint for Colorado. I think you have on your agenda, you show the polygon for Colorado and the reduced service area. This was about having the availability, the resources to provide the rides. It's also about the fact that since we haven't had a service change for Colorado since 2016. Now, Colorado legally is mandated to provide service within 3/4 of a mile of our fixed routes, which would be bus and Metrolink. We've been operating far outside of that area for a long time, since 2016 at least. Prior to that, we had the manpower, we had the vans, we had everything we needed, so we were trying to provide as much service to the region as we could. We are no longer able to do that. So we're matching the fixed route service for the March 13th change that took place there. And we brought in our polygon. And frankly, and if you've seen the news and you've seen the reports on that, frankly, our service has improved already. Okay, again, it's about providing the best possible service we can to the riders that we are required to service through federal guidelines. So that's what we're doing now. So as you see here, we had a 43% denial rate I do have the March numbers for Colorado. In March, that was reduced to 34%. And that's just based on the fact that the information is out there. People realize that what the new service area is. So only the people that are basically qualified in that service area are calling us now. But as a result of that, we reduced the denials from 19,000 to 16,000. But in that same period of time, we increased the number of trips that were made by 3,000, from 20,483 to 23,495. And that's because we're not going those long distances anymore. We're concentrating on our required service area so we can get more trips in more efficiently than we could before. And that is basically the justification of what we've done. We don't have the resources to do more than that. And as a result of reducing the service area, we are providing better service to the people within the required service area. So I just wanted to point that out. I think that's...
So can I ask you a question?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, great that you're providing better service, but do you have enough operators to handle the reduced footprint now?
Yes, exactly. Our missed trips are going down. And as a matter of fact, I've even got some numbers for the last couple of weeks. And this again this is before we've implemented this. This is just based on the fact that people they know now that some of these things that were requested before, we're just not capable of doing. So the people that are calling us, we're better able to handle that situation. For example, the week of April 3rd, and I got a Monday through a Wednesday, 3rd through 5th, because you can schedule a ride for Monday through Wednesday on the previous Friday. So during that period of time, we had 5,404 requested trips. We denied 1,900 for a denial percentage of 35. So that's kind of where we were at the end of March. But this current week, we've had requests, this is since Friday, we've had requests for 4,185 trips. We've denied 1,000. Our denial percentage is down to like 25%. So, and we think that over time, as we implement this and people become better knowledgeable about the service that we can provide, that those denial rates will continue to go down. We will continue to monitor that, and I will continue to report on that. Any other questions about Colorado?
To clarify, Chuck, you're saying that even before the implementation today on the 10th, you were down to 25% denials as of last week because people knew that.
As of this period right now, the service we're providing today through Wednesday. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And it's, you know, we started this, well, I've been talking about reducing Colorado service in these meetings for several months now. And the word got out. We sent out, you know, postcards, letters, we put up signs, all kind of things. People have called us. We had a public meeting. We've had over 1,000 people that have called us and, you know, to learn about the new call right service and whether they qualify or not, or what they might have to do to adjust their schedule in order to use the new service. And all of that is working so far.
So one more question for you, Chuck, because a significant portion of the area that's no longer served is in unincorporated St. Louis County, I think. So what services are you recommending that those riders, what partnerships are you recommending for those riders to reach out to? Because we're hearing from riders as well who may no longer have the option of call a ride. So what are the options available for people in those areas?
So we have, we're recommending, well, we're recommending all the way on the way. Well, that's our training. We're training people to use our regular service if they can. Okay, that's one thing. Mo
Can you
rides.
stop right there, Chuck? Can you stop? What does that mean?
Well, for example, everybody
I mean,
doesn't.
how do they use the regular service if they're outside the service area?
Well, no. Okay, I'm sorry. That's not what I was talking about. People within the service area to still get service. People outside the service area, we're recommending things like Mo rides. They have a database of providers that they can provide to people, other people that could possibly provide the service. We're recommending ride finders, which is a carpool thing, but you don't have to have a car to use ride finders. And we're recommending the Missouri Health Net, which is the Medicaid operator. And some, that has worked for some people. So we're trying, we've also established a relationship with the Regional Disability Transportation Network. We've met with them and we are basically, you know, basically this is a regional issue. It's not just a bi-state issue. It's not just a city and St. Louis County issue. It's a resource issue for the entire region. So we're trying to bring to bear other resources to assist in this process. So we had a meeting on the last week, I think, with this Regional Disability Transportation Network, and there's a plan that was developed by East West Gateway, the Coordinated Human Resources Transportation Plan. We are looking at the goals of that plan and setting up committees to see how we can revamp the plan to meet the situation that we're in now. Colorado was never designed to be the only resource for transportation with people with disabilities. We were just part of the solution, and we want to continue to play a strong part as being part of the solution. And I think we can better play that part when we can deliver the service that we promise. And that's what we're trying to do in this revamping of our operation.
Chuck, can you send the commission a copy of the goals of that plan?
I sure can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
I think the last bullet is the disability rights activists. complaint?
yeah.
Can you just kind of,
Yeah, well, actually, there have been two complaints filed. One was with the FTA, and I think that's the one you're referring to here. And another was filed this past Friday, I think, with the Justice Department, basically outlining some of the same issues. Bottom line is not providing the level and quality of service that people expected or that they had grown to expect from Colorado. So the FTA has sent us the formal complaint. They have requested information. Most of it is statistical data on ridership and that kind of thing. And we've provided that information. We provided it within 2 days of receiving the request. And their general statement was that they would do whatever they could in order to assist us in this situation. So I think it's pretty well understood that this is not something that we are just doing, that we don't care about our ridership. It's something that we have to do. It's the right thing for us in terms of being able to fulfill the promise of providing quality service in this area. And I think based on the tone of the letter from the FTA, I think they just want to make sure that is the case. We have not formally received anything from the Justice Department at this time.
Chuck, do you think that any of the goals that was established by East-West Gateway will address any of the complaints?
Well, the goals, again, they're regional goals. And all the complaints so far are Colorado complaints. But the complaints are reflective of a problem that exists for the entire region. So I don't think the goals are necessarily going to change. What might have to change is the approach to achieving the goals. And up until this point, Colorado has been relied upon to be the main deliverer of these services. And that's just no longer, we're not able to do that. So I think the key thing is that we work together as a region and determine what other resources can be brought to the table for the solutions.
Thank you. Any other questions for Chuck?
No, thank you, Chuck.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Chuck.
Okay, Tammy?
Yep. So I'm going to walk through the financials year to date through February. So looking at the financials actual to budget, you'll see that we've been bringing in our COVID relief funding, and you'll see we've brought in about 150 million of that. We're going to continue to bring that in this year. It'll give us an opportunity to invest some of that money and make some interest income on that. When you look at the specific revenue, you'll see that passenger revenue is up 1.2 million. The city's actually up 5 million and the county's actually down about 5.8 million. Now that's primarily related to timing, and I have talked to Paul Kreitler about this too, and we are working by the end of year, we'll be back on track for our sales tax in the county. It's a timing and operational issue within the funds and transferring those funds to us. Pretty much everything else is online until you get down to other revenue. You'll see there's $1.7 million coming in, and that's for SPP. That's private funding coming in. And then our interest income's up about $5 million from what we budgeted. So backing out, if we just backed out the COVID relief money, looking at revenue, we'd be at $212 million. Then looking down at expenses, you'll see that we're under budget about $20 million. That's primarily due to wages and benefits, due to the shortage of workers. And then other areas we're actually under budget too, related to the service. And so at the end of February, we were, if you take out the COVID relief funds, we were up about 21 million. And so that's where we are for February, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Tammy, what is
Yep.
the remainder of, what do you have in the balance left of COVID relief funds?
So we're going to be bringing in an additional 64 million. And so when you're asking how much have we actually used of that, so we're allocating those funds between the states. And so we have, we're projecting around $200 million is what we're projecting.
You have a balance of 200 million remaining
No, that we've used 200.
that you've used to date.
Yeah.
Okay. And of the passenger revenue, you're up 1.2 million. Do you guys know how much of that is special event ridership?
I don't, but I can find out how much we have from special events. I can get that information for you.
Okay. I'd be curious how much is special event related and how much just everyday riders coming back to the system.
I'll get that to you.
Thank you.
Tammy, this is Deborah. Just for my own clarification, will you give me a heads up on the your annual budget presentation? I don't want to keep putting it on there.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We're just kind of working through the strategies now. So we keep thinking we're going to be further along, and we just haven't gotten settled to what we think we can accomplish. And so we're working on it. And I do apologize. I should have sent you an email.
That's okay. I'm going to leave it off for next month. Is that okay?
Well, I think our goal has been to have it on there in March and April, and I think we're really going to hopefully be there in May. And so I owe some conversations to Chris Grant Howard too, and I'll be catching up with him soon on that too. So if we can, how about yeah, I'll definitely let you know, and I apologize.
That's okay. Okay. Thank you, Tammy. Ted?
Good afternoon. How are you all doing today?
Great.
Good. So, Ms. Carter, just to kind of walk through the 3 points that you had on there as far as sentiment, and I know Patty talked a little bit about that last week too. You know, when we're looking at public sentiment, a lot of the stories that we see, and then as you look at that last tab inside your book, you'll notice where Twitter is by far one of the largest shares of media coverage that we have there. There's not a lot that we can do from the standpoint of changing the Twitter conversations. But what we do like, and I know that like when we look at the neutral, it's not positive nor is it negative, and it's kind of just it's in a neutral position. And that seems to carry a lot of what we talk about. When we look at public sector, public transit, a lot of the information that we're pushing out is really about our service. And as we've been talking just about call-a-ride service, you know, and some of the other things that we do as far as single tracking, some of those things are going to have a dramatic effect on what you see within our social media platforms. And then also when we look at our news stories and the stories that are out there. Now, in the story side of it, what we'll see is if a reporter is doing a story, let's say on a service change, and if they go back and they start mentioning some of the other issues that have been happening in the past with Metro Transit, that will possibly have a negative versus a neutral impact on us. So as much as we can continue to push through that narrative, you know, the neutral for us is okay, like we've said for the last year or so within what we're doing. And that's literally because of the changes that we're making. So they are tough changes that are impacting a lot of the customers that use our service on a daily basis. And, you know, so we start continuing to work through that. But when we see the positive side grow, that's the other piece that we kind of really see as being a more impactful side of it. But, you know, you've been around with us a long time and going through some of the negative situations that we've had. if there's a way for us to neutralize that negative, that's really in our best interest. So I don't know if that helps a lot. I'm happy to sit down and talk to you a little bit more about it on a one-on-one if you'd like to, and we can kind of walk through that too. So does that kind of answer the question, Ms. Carter, for the neutral sentiments?
Yeah, I think I understood all that. So are you saying to me that I really shouldn't be concerned with that?
You know, where I get more concerned is I get more concerned when our negatives are staying higher. You know, what we start to look at too is where public sentiment is. And, you know, they don't necessarily have a bad impression of us or a good impression, which does give us an opportunity as we move through this process to look at reputation management and looking at how we grow that reputation. So, you know, when we start talking about the projects like, for instance, what Kevin's working on with secure platforms, and then as Tom's coming along within this part of our fare collection system, those two pieces marrying together and looking at the security and how we do that, that really does help us to start to move out of that neutral and into a positive. What it also helps us to do is to really look at that narrative from a perception perspective and doing a different, I'd call it more of a 30,000 foot look at Metro. And that's a different piece of it. For example, like the stuff that Kim does from a CMT perspective, that is raising the awareness of the services that Metro provides. The other thing that we're doing, and we're just starting the campaign, and I'll reveal that to you guys in the next couple months, is really going back and focusing on those pieces about the realities of, you know, some of us use it, but everybody needs Metro. And so I call those 30,000 foot because they look more at the brand reputation. And so we have a lot of those pieces that are coming out in the next months. You'll also notice in the package that you have, we're using the phrase ride on to healthcare, ride on to sports. And so that is a part of another part of our campaign of looking at us as a part of, you know, just the community. And the social media posts that we're doing, a lot of the other pieces that you'll start to see at this point in time, it's not necessarily putting a focus on Metro Transit as much as that we're part of a community and the need for Metro Transit to be a part of that. So I'll bring those out to you in the next month or so as they're starting to launch in there. So that's there as well. As far as like when we look at our recap, you know, we have 444 mentions. It generated about $2.4 million in positive and neutral publicity. And so as far as our reach, we had nearly 15 million in our reach from that perspective. A lot of the work that we continue to do is showcasing like our schedule changes and our service changes. So as we're going through single tracking issues, as we're going through all of our service adjustments, as well as in Caller Ride, a lot of our team is really invested in making sure that those pieces are there. The other side that we start to look at too is that as an organization, how are we promoting what we do and being a part of the community? So you'll see some of the posts that we've done and some of the work that we've done in the community. In February, we were part of the Rise and Shine Biscuit campaign, which is really kind of focusing on Heat Up St. Louis, and then also in the summer it will be Cool Down St. Louis, and helping to provide individuals that don't necessarily have the means to be able to take care of their electricity all the time in there. The other thing that we've done is looking at national pieces that are going on around the region and on a national basis, is really focusing on how you can use transit, for instance, to get to National Pizza Day. What's going on in the community? We've launched a new discount program that when you show your pass and save, that is out in the community as well. And so providing some new opportunities for people to use their transit passes. We opened the new parking lot there at the DeBoliver Skinker stations. And so that's open. In February, we also did another program that was called Random Acts of Kindness. And it's literally our team just getting out there and with transit passes, trying to show the value that we see in our customers and the constituents that are around us, that they're important in that process. And then in the last piece of it, there are several media releases. I know Patty just sent out another group for you all. Those are in there. Mark your calendars. There is a hiring event on Saturday, April the 15th, and we're looking for operators and mechanics. We also have a hiring bonus if any of you are interested in that and switching careers and coming over to work for Bi-State Development, Metro Transit. We're always looking for good, personable people, and you can be hired on the spot. So for that brother-in-law, that sister-in-law, those nephews and grandkids that are looking for jobs, we've got plenty of them, and we're looking to continue to extend our reach into the region. We see this hiring piece as being a key in order for us to continue to provide services. And we value the people that are here within our organization. We need great team members to join us. So if you have individuals in your family that are just like you, that are go-getters, please send them our way. I'm sure Chuck would love to talk to them as well. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. And if you have any questions for me, otherwise, we'll just move on to the next piece of the agenda.
Thanks so much, Ted. I think that I'm still way confused, but I'm not going to take the time to talk about it now. I'll send you an email and we could kind of discuss this between the two of us.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we can meet and sit down and talk about it.
Okay. You're right. Patty did send us an email out, but I haven't opened it. So was that the highlight, just the of her email, just the hiring?
No, she's got other pieces in there. So I'm not quite sure what all media releases that she put in there, but she tries to make sure that anything that we're sending out, that we bundle them so you know that those are there as well. So.
Okay. Okie dokie. Thank you so much.
Sure. Look forward to talking to you soon.
Okay. Captain Morrow and Kevin.
Kevin, you want me to go?
Yes, sir.
Well, the good news is I don't have anything new for you. So it's short and sweet for me, unless anybody has any questions. All right, Kevin.
A couple of things. We released our fourth quarter 2022 incident report, MetroLink incident report, a couple of weeks ago. If you did not receive a copy of that, we will be more than happy to send that to you. Is there anyone that needs a copy of it that did not receive it?
I do. I didn't get it.
I will follow back with. Yeah, I'll follow back up with the team and make sure that that is sent to you. And then
Thank you.
You can take time to review it, and then perhaps if you have any questions next month, we can discuss it in detail. As far as SPP goes, I know that's on the agenda. Last month gave a fairly thorough overview of where we are with this project, to include the upgrading of our closed circuit television system and the build out of a real-time camera center. In addition to showing you the illustration of the concepts of the gating system, which is a roto gate, swing gate complement. And we are in the final design phase, as I mentioned last month, for package number 1. And package number 1, just as a reminder, is Emerson Park, JJK, Washington Park, and College. We will be at a 30% design level on April the 18th. And that's when we will, at 30% design, that's when we will bring in all the public safety entities that service those particular platforms for their review as well. And then we'll be at 60% in May 19th. And then in July 13th, we'll be at 95%. And we will move to bid for construction of package number 1 in August of 2023. In conjunction with that, we are going to move into a procurement process for the gating systems and the fencing to ensure that we're able to defeat any challenges with the supply chain. We don't anticipate, with the types of fencing and gating that we're proposing, that we will have those types of long delays, but you never know. And then the last important thing is now that we know the gating systems that we're going to use, we're being extra cautious to ensure that that those systems, that those gates will integrate with fare collection technology that is being pursued. So we have options out there for direct connection to the gates. There are several vendors where we feel very comfortable that we can achieve that. There are also several vendors out there where we can achieve it through a third-party dynamic. So we are refining our list so that we can go out and we can purchase the types of gates that we need and stockpile them here as we move forward. So we are moving this project forward. We are not taking our foot off the accelerator. This will, without question, change the dynamic in the future of how we deploy our security assets. And we know going into this, and we've always known that the fare collection side of the project is very sophisticated, and that initially we won't have the integration with the new fare collection system within the first package or two, but we're well positioned to staff those platforms and to ensure that the minute that we put in these new gating systems and this fencing, that they make a true security impact, albeit using human assets to do that. So we're not turning back, we're moving forward. Package number 2, as I suggested also, I believe we went over this last month as well. We have proposed that package number 2 would include this is going west to east, Del Mar, Forest Park, Central West End, Cortex, Grand, Union Station, and Civic Center. And we are hoping to be able to bid construction on package number 2 in early November. What we're trying to do is create a cascading effect to shave time off of the end of the project to ensure that we show continuous and consistent progress in the implementation of these gates. So I feel very comfortable with where we are. I think on both sides of the aisle, both on the gating and fencing and the fare collection as well. And I think that at the end of the day, we'll provide a product that everybody wants. It will be a process getting there, a phasal process getting there. But I don't really see at this point any major hurdles with the implementation of the gating systems or the fencing. So those monthly reports that you received, or that monthly report that you received, basically is a reiteration of what we spoke about last month. If anybody wants to take time and review that on your own, I'll be more than happy to circle back with you and answer any questions that you might have. But the most important thing that SPP does is all of the corresponding projects that have to be completed to move forward with the effectiveness of the total plan. It brings everything into concert under one umbrella and forces solutions and pushes projects in the same direction. And so with that, again, as a reiteration, we do believe that securing the platforms, complemented with security on the platforms as we move forward, will greatly enhance our overall security appearance and our footprint, and have a huge impact on mitigating some of the issues that we struggle with. And I'm still waiting for you guys to call me for your tour of the real-time camera center. I've not heard from one single person. I'm waiting. So with that, I'd like to offer that again.
So I would recommend going on the tour of the real-time camera center. I did it last week. It's amazing. So kudos to you and your team, Kevin. I highly recommend it for the other commission members. But I did have a question. You talked about phase 1 and you talked about phase 2. North Hanley is the only station in unincorporated St. Louis County. Do you anticipate it to be in phase 3?
I don't know beyond phase 2. We know what the priorities are with North Hanley, certainly. Again, in phase 2 is a recommendation that we have made to engineering. And again, I don't know with the concepting and where we are in the total package, where North Hanley will fall, but it will be, we'll move that along as quickly as we can. We understand the challenges there.
Thank you. Okay, thanks, Kevin. In conjunction with that, the update states that you engage with multiple regional associations, and that's Brentwood, U City, et cetera. And I'm assuming that was presentations you made to their boards, their council.
That is correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. So I don't have that monthly report in front of me, but we made several presentations to boards of aldermen in the area. And then we continue to do that. We did it also in Swansea. We have Belleville scheduled, along with a whole litany of engagements scheduled for the next 90 days. So that is true. Those were boards of aldermen.
Okay, but it looks like none of these municipalities will be impacted by phase 1 or phase 2. Is that correct?
That is, well, yes, that's probably correct. However, we are reaching out to all of the municipalities along the alignment in totality, not as we implement packages. Our communication effort with the municipalities is in totality, meaning we're gonna touch on all of them very quickly.
Kevin, can I jump in there just real quick?
Sure.
So, Ms. Carter, what we've been doing over the past 2 years is taking Kevin out on a road show and making sure that across the board in the region that we're meeting with municipalities, stakeholders groups, in order to create a larger conversation. So I can send along just kind of an update of where we're at. I know in January and February, typically in those time periods, we're not necessarily out there as much because a lot of people aren't moving around. But as the weather gets warmer, then that call for Kevin to go out and spend some time away from his wife and his family in the evening really comes up there. So he's been a real great guy to go through and make sure that anybody that asks for information about us, he's happy to sit down and meet with them. But I'll send you a list. And so we continue to do that kind of outreach, and that will continue through all the phases for Kevin until he tells us to leave him alone.
Okay, so is my understanding correct that these municipalities asked for this presentation?
So we've engaged with Vector Communications, and if you know Lorna and her team with Cordell Whitlock, they go out and they've put together kind of a list of people throughout the region that we need to meet with and literally starting at the top with stakeholders and then asking permission if we can dig deeper into their communities. So if you have a group or groups of individuals that you'd like us to sit down and meet with, we can put them into our schedule as well.
Okay, thanks, Ted. I was just trying to understand the theory behind it. Okay,
sure. No,
since they weren't included, they're not included yet, and so okay, I needed that. And Kevin, I'm not ignoring you. Okay, I've been down with COVID for about a month, so I just haven't been feeling very well, and trying to get myself together because next month I have a vacation coming up, so. Give me a minute to get myself together, and we will definitely come and visit. We always enjoy our visits when we come. So it's no slight to you. It's just me. Okay.
I was partly joking, but we'd love to have you.
Okay, thanks. And Adam and Maria, I'm counting on you all to say that you don't really have a report because we're over time.
Well, I did have like an hour-long presentation, but
well, you know what? I'll put you first on the May agenda. How about that?
we're probably good. By then, no one will care about it. We're doing the same old stuff, so we're good.
Okay, thank you, and I apologize for cutting you short. Any other questions, comments before we close?
Just one question, Deborah. Is there any thought to possibly going back in person, maybe like once a quarter for these meetings? Or using a different platform possibly for these meetings that might work a little better?
You want to set it up?
Well, do I want to set up the in-person meetings or the electronic platform? I'm not sure what.
The electronic
It's just-
platform. You want to work on that with Izzy?
Sure. I mean, Izzy, is there a possibility of using Zoom or a different platform that might be more easily accessible for everyone?
I can look into it with our IT and get back with you.
Okay, that would be great. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Thank you all for another great meeting, and I look forward to May 8th. Everybody have a great week. Enjoy the beautiful weather.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody, take care.
Bye.